Hey, my amazing super ladies. I hope that you're having a really good day. It's just awesome, like how incredibly fun it is to be able to just show up on camera and to teach good stuff. And I'm so excited for you to, in the future, hopefully, if you decide that you want to start to build your personal brand, make money online, and just thrive in your life, because I know that that is what you are supposed to be doing. In today's class, we will go over how to calculate your freedom number. The reason why we're doing this is because yesterday I had a live call, a live group coaching, not a live group coaching call, but a live stream. The group coaching calls are for my students, my Master Manifest Soul Coaching students. But yesterday I had a live stream in my free Facebook group. And this live stream that I had was about how to normalize your goals so that you can achieve them faster. And we had so much engagement in that live stream. It was absolutely awesome. And if you haven't watched it, I would highly recommend that you go into the Facebook group and that you watch it. If you can't find it, let us know, me or my team, and we will guide you to find it. No worries about that. But anyway, inside of that live stream, I asked who want to learn how to calculate your freedom number, because there were so many women that they when I asked what they wanted, they were like freedom, financial freedom, and I was like, okay, amazing, what does that mean? um and then nobody really answered, so I was like, okay, awesome. Do you want to learn how to actually calculate your freedom number? And everybody were like, yeah, please do so. So here we are, I am doing that. And why is this so important? This is so important. Did you see how dramatic I was there? Like taking a pause and all of that. This is so important because if we don't know, we do not have a clear path. If we don't know how much money we actually need in order to live the life we want to live, it is not going to happen. Have you ever had that in your life when you were really determined? You were like, I am going to get, maybe it was like a race, like you wanted to run, you wanted to jog or run, a marathon, whatever. And you were like, I'm going to go from A to B. And you knew exactly how many kilometers that was or how many meters that race was going to be. You had the facts, you had the numbers. And when you had the numbers, you could actually start to track. After 1 kilometer, you were like, okay, I have only this many kilometers left. Does that make sense? Most people, myself included, we have no idea where we are going. We have a dream. We have a big, fat, massive dream inside of our heart. And we know, like, my life is supposed to be big. My life is supposed to be massive. But we really don't know what does that mean. Maybe we have made a vision board. That, by the way, most people are doing their vision boards the completely wrong way, because most law of attraction teachers teaches this the completely wrong way. Inside of the Master Manifestor, my students are learning how to actually make a vision board the right way so that it actually works, so that it's actually moving you forward to start to achieve those goals. So there is a right way of doing the vision board. But anyway, coming back to the numbers, we need to know, what am I going for? I had such a perfect example of this. Um, just just this week. So the last 3 months, I've been kind of focusing on like moving here to Vietnam, to the beach. I was doing this so that the colors would be more clear there, so the focus would go there so that you actually could see the beach. Like, look at that. Such a beautiful beach. This is like, it is extremely long, this beach. Like, you can walk for hours and you won't get to the end in any direction. It is like wide. It is white. and are almost no people on the beach. In the mornings, there are local people on the beach, and in the evenings, there are local people on the beach. But also, most tourists that are coming to this place, they are from Asia, and many Asian countries, or the people from those countries, they do not want to get a suntan like we're like craving the sun, right? Or many of us do. I don't really want to be in the sun that much, but anyway, this is why I use a fake tanner all the time, all year around. So you know my little secret trick. But anyway, so because there are most Asian people traveling here, and the Vietnamese, the local people, they don't want to be on the beaches in the daytime. The beach is like super beautiful with no people almost all day long, which is just incredible. So anyway, I had my focus on going here, like what is everything that we need to fix and all of that. I had a clear goal. I knew exactly what we needed to fix. We knew how much it was going to cost to live here. We had done both, like Jonas were the main responsible person for this. Like he's really good at calculating stuff. He's very much like an Excel person, which is awesome. So what you will hear me talk about, I am not an Excel person at all. And Jonas and I have this joke that he is a bit like a squarey personality. Um, I say that with love. I really, really, really appreciate that part of him because it is incredible. And I've learned so much from Jonas, from that Excel square personality, how important it is to know our numbers, because I never knew any numbers before I met Jonas, and he has really helped me so much. So when we were moving here, he helped me to understand what is it going to cost, how much money do we actually need to bring in into the companies in order to afford the lifestyle that we want to have. As soon as we knew that, we could set it all in place and we could work towards that goal. And we achieved this goal pretty quickly, which was very awesome. And now we are here. So my focus was really on the move and all of that. Like we haven't not really physically moved. Like we are here for about like 2.5 months or something like that. Don't really know. We can stay for. My brother is getting married in the summer in Sweden, and we're going back for that. That's kind of what we know. Anyway, so the example was that the last 3 months I was not really focused on my business in that way. I was focused on giving my students the best experience ever, but I wasn't really focused helping new students to come into the program, and the doors were basically closed to the program, and therefore I didn't really bring in money at those 3 months because that wasn't my focus. But like 2 weeks ago I sat down, like I'm going to show you now. I sat down and I really did a calculation. I was like, okay, the life that I want to, so now I've upgraded to this lifestyle. Where do I go from here? What are my like, what is my dream life? This is really a part of that. But next level version of me, what is my dream life? What do I really want? What is my true freedom number? And what will that, yeah, exactly. The calculations of that. As soon as I had sat down with that, like I'm going to show you now, and I had focus and I had followed the steps that I will teach you, I went from zero income, because that wasn't my focus, to 260,000 that will come in during this month. So that is just to show you an example of what can happen when we know exactly where we are going and we know how to put our focus. Does that make sense? Awesome. So what I will be doing is that I will show you a document that I was just writing down for you. And I do have dyslexia, so sorry if there are spelling errors, but I guess you will get the point, and that is the most important thing. So I will share this document with you and I will go through it. And I also want to say, do not rush with us. Do not rush with us. This is your dream life that we are going to look at. This is your freedom number that we are going to look at. Don't expect this to be like a 10-minute thing. Put aside at least 2 hours to really dedicate yourself to do this so that you fully understand this. Because most of us, we have learned, and this is why you're most likely not living your dream life right now, because we have learned to not even look at our dreams. We have learned that they are impossible. We have learned that you should be just happy and satisfied with what you have. You shouldn't like grasp for so much more. Like, just be okay with what you have. So we have really been diminished. We have really been pushed down. We have been suppressed. And now we are allowing you to come out. We're allowing you to start breathe, and we are allowing you to really start to look at what you truly want. Because when you know what you truly want, it is so much more easy to go after that. And I was saying this to a beautiful, amazing woman yesterday that I had a conversation with. And I said to her, because she said that I helped her to kind of give her permission to start to own that she wanted to make money, to start to own that she wanted to live in 3 different places already a year. And she started to own what she truly wanted. And she was like, it felt like you gave me permission to do that because of the way you spoke. And that made me so happy, because I felt that with Kim Kardashian. I do have a video somewhere in the Facebook group where I'm talking about this, that when I heard that Kim Kardashian, she said, I always knew that I wanted to be famous, and I always knew that I wanted to be rich. And she really owned that. I was like, oh, wow, felt amazing, because that is how I always used to feel. And I always knew that I wanted to be famous. I didn't want to be like Kim Kardashian famous so that I can't go out my car without people being their paparazzi. But I want to be famous in my own field. I want to be famous in my work. I want to be famous because I do something extraordinary good in this world and in this field of empowering women to really step into their power. So there is where I want to be famous, and I want to have my own brand, and I want to make a lot of money. So when I heard Kim say that, I was like, oh, that felt amazing. She owns that, and it kind of gave me permission to own that as well. So this is why we truly want you to take time with us. Do not, as I said, do not do this in 10 minutes. Take at least 2 hours, sit down with this so that you can truly give yourself the time, the space, the allowance, the permission to dig into what you really want. So are we ready to have a look at the document? Yes, we are. I would highly encourage you, before we dive into the document, I would highly encourage you, bring something to write on, pen or paper or your phone or something like that. But we are going to go through 5 steps, okay? Hold on, there we go. Oh, there we go. Fantastic. How to calculate your freedom number. Start with 1. Sit down and write what you want. And then I gave you ways to do this. So do this by ask yourself, if nobody could judge me, then I would. And then you fill in the blank. And then you do the next one. If nobody could be angry at me, then I would. Fill in the blank. If I knew that I could not fail, then I would. Fill in the blank. If I knew that I could have all I wanted in my life, then I would. Freedom truly means, and then fill in the blank. And then you do this until you cannot come up with anything more. So the reason why we're doing the statements is because your subconscious mind and your soul, they have been trained that people are judging you. They are terrified of being abandoned from the tribe. That is a self kind of survival mechanism, that we do everything we can to fit in with the people that we have around us. Because when we were living in the Stone Age, or when we were living the other lives that we have been living, or even as a kid, we knew that if I get abandoned from my tribe, then I may not survive. And the survival is obviously the most important thing. So this is why we learn how to really fit in with other people. So this is why these statements are so incredibly important, that if nobody could judge me, then I would. If nobody could be angry at me, then I would. For example, here for me, for me, this is coming up. If nobody could be angry at me, then I would live more than half a year somewhere in, I'm not really exactly sure where yet, but if nobody, I'm gonna try this for myself now, or do this for myself. If nobody could be angry at me, I would live half the year, or even more than that, somewhere else that is not Sweden. And the reason why this is coming up for me is because when Jonas and I lived in Bali, the relationship with my mom, and most, like both my parents, but more my mom than my dad, it got very, very, very tense. My mom got so triggered by me being away for so long. I don't blame her, like, but that was her stuff coming up, and she was kind of saying things like, well, you do have a responsibility to be in Sweden. And but that was like her way of trying to make me come back. Like, so I'm not blaming her. I just want to give you like a proper example of why, um what is coming up for me when I do this exercise. So um this is why, like, if I knew that she couldn't be angry at me if I choose to live wherever I want, then I would probably live more than half the year somewhere else that is not Sweden. Okay. But obviously, because I had that experience when we were in Bali, and it was extremely uncomfortable and made me really, really sad, and I felt like a bad person and everything, that memory is still stored within my whole system. So I don't want to experience that again. So this is why, also, the part of me that really wants me to be safe and fit in and don't upset anybody, that part of me wants me to be in Sweden, if that makes sense. And this exercise is for us to truly understand, what do I want? What do I really want? And to really give yourself permission to dig into this deeply, because we don't want to get you into a compromised life. We want to get you into a life where you're like, this is exactly what I want. When we get underneath all of these fears, what other people would think, if they would judge us and all of that, if they would get angry with us, when we get underneath all of that, then first, then we can truly start to see what that life really means. Okay. So when you have done that, maybe like, maybe so much emotions are coming up for you, so maybe you do number one, and maybe you need to take a break and you need to come back to this after like a day or 2 days or maybe a week or maybe 30 minutes. So however long this is taking for you, give yourself that space and know that that is fine. I would, however, decide to come back after at least a week, because otherwise you may just procrastinate and never keep on going with this. And if you don't keep on going with this, obviously you will never know what your freedom number actually is. Okay. And then it's going to be really, really hard to achieve. So I hope that makes sense. Moving on to number two, we want to now make a list of, or two different lists. We want to make one list that is the best case scenario and one list that is the base case scenario. So for example, if you discover, like how I have discovered, that I would like to have 3 homes in different places of the world. So for me personally, I would like probably to have a home somewhere in Sweden, probably Stockholm, probably the apartment that we have in Stockholm. But then I would like to have a house in the Alps, or it doesn't have to be like the Italian Alps or anywhere like that, but I want it to be in a place where it is snow, like a lot of snow, where we can go skiing, where we have a big fireplace, where we can just like cuddle up in this like Christmassy holiday vibe type of thing. And then I want a beach home like this. Doesn't really matter right now if it is an apartment or if it is a house, but I want to live in these 3 different locations throughout the year. So then what we want to do here, we want to do the best case scenario, which is obviously like the absolute dream case. What would that be? Like the dream case, yeah, that would be to have a villa on the beach. Okay, then I would ask myself, so, okay, where would I like that villa to be? Do I like Thailand? Do I want it to be in the Maldives? Like, what do I really want? We want to dig into, because remember, this is you getting to know yourself. So do not take this lightly. Do not just like, oh, I take Thailand because Thailand seems to be nice. No, go deeper than that. Really ask yourself, what is it that I really want? Why? So if you're choosing Thailand, for example, ask yourself, like, why do I choose Thailand? Is it because I love Thai food? Or is it because I enjoy that the water at some beaches there are crystal clear? Do I like the temperature there? What is it that I really want? Um, so then you're looking like at the best case scenario. So, okay, the best case scenario would maybe be to have that villa on the beach. And then you can go online and you can start to look for um, I'm not gonna swap my screens. Okay, maybe I do. Hold on. um, share this tab instead. Okay, hopefully this works. So dream villas um, on in beach in Thailand. Um, so then you can go online and you start to check, like, okay, so what kind of house is it that I really want? Because sometimes the mind goes like, well, if my dream scenario would be to have like a 5,000 square meter house, but then ask yourself, like, is that really what I want? Or is it just like randomly taken from the air? What do I really want? What is my dream scenario? For example, I definitely used to say, like, well, I would love to have a castle on the beach, but was that realistic? Like, no, not really. That is not really what I want. What I really want is kind of a designer house. Like, this is a house in my style. I really like when they're very squarey. I love when they have big windows. This is not like perfect, but this is giving me an idea. Um, but I would probably not want it to be this big. If I'm going to own the home and it's going to be standing there empty for most part of the year when I'm not there, because that is like my the best case scenario. So for me, the best case scenario is where I have the three homes, and they're standing there like empty when we're not there, because I don't want to rent them out. In my dream case scenario, then I want to be able to know, like, where is my charger when I arrive into that home. I want to have like everything, my clothes are there that I'm wearing in that house, and everything is just there exactly the way I want it. So that is my dream case, my best case scenario. So then I probably wouldn't want my home to be this big. So really start to ask yourself those questions, because like this house here, this is enormous. Like, what would I do with all that space? In my dream life, no, I would probably not want to have that. I would like to have something with big windows, but not that big, because it's going to create a lot of problems at the same time. So I hope that that makes sense. So my dream case scenario is that I'm having these different homes in three different places, and they're standing there empty when I'm not, where we are not there. And then the base case. So when we are looking at the base case, hold on, where are we? Okay, we want to share this one again. When we're talking about the base case, that is more like the base case is more like the realistic. I'm gonna do it in those, because it's not like realistic. What is realistic? Because then you look at, no, nothing is realistic. So the base case is more like, okay, so if I, like, what would the little bit of a lower level, like, okay, the absolutely dream case would be to have the house empty. But okay, so what would the second best, the base case, could that be to actually rent those homes? So instead of us owning those homes, could we rent those homes in three different occasions? Or could we own them and then rent them out to other people when we're not there? So that would be a different price point. Do you see what I mean? So this is what we want to do with everything that comes up on your list. You really make a list of what are actually like the things that you want to have in your dream life, in your, that the life that means freedom to you. What do you really want to have in that life? For me, those three homes are a perfect example. So the dream case would be to have them empty, so that we can just go there whenever we want to. And the base case would be, which is still like a really awesome case, but that would be to rent those homes, or to own them but to rent them out. So I hope that this makes sense. This is how you dive into this. And like, as I said, go deep into this, because we want you, when you're done with this, you want to have a super crystal clear idea of what is the price of all of this. So now when I know, like, okay, my house would look I would spend much, much, much more time on this. So something like this, could I find something similar that is even more on my style? That looks like a really cool place, but I wanted it to be on the beach. So you do some research. Okay, now I'm on the wrong tab. Sorry. Share this tab instead. So what I was saying is that I pressed this one, it looked awesome, but it was a bit far away from the beach. So then we're going into something else. So this is how you're doing your research, because you really want to understand exactly what it is that you want. And when you know exactly what it is that you want and it becomes more clear in your head, now you're starting to summarize the cost of both the best case and the base case. So I'm just going to take, because this is just to show you. So I'm just taking a random number from the air, but maybe the best case scenario for you, maybe that is like 1 million SEK per month. That it would be the best case. And then the base case, when you kind of realize that I could rent the boat instead of owning it, and I could rent it for only like the 4 weeks in the summer when I actually want to be using it, instead of owning it the whole year and then having to pay people to take care of it and stuff like that, then maybe you realize that the base case would then be about 200,000 per month instead of 1 million per month. So now you have two different price points to give yourself a super clear idea. And then you would probably want to start getting closer to the base case, if that makes sense, because the base case is still like your dream life. It is just two different levels of your dream life. So I hope that makes sense. When you have figured all of this out, so you know where you live, you know how many kids you have. Like for me, I said 3 kids. What does that cost? What does it cost to live the kind of lifestyle with the kids that I want to live? Like, I don't want my kids to be stuck in a traditional school in Sweden. I don't think so right now, at least. Because I hated to be stuck in school when I was a kid myself. So I probably don't want to do that with my kids. So in this house, for example, where we're living now, the apartment complex, where I met an awesome family. They signed out from the country that they were born in, and where they lived, because in that country they weren't allowed to take their kids out of school. So they signed out of that country and they signed into another country. I think they're residents of was it the Arab Emirates, however you say that, the Arab countries somewhere. So they signed into that because there you are actually allowed to travel with your kids and to homeschool your kids and to world school your kids and stuff like that. So it's really awesome to see what is actually possible when you start to expand your thinking and your dream muscles. So for me, I would love to have 2 to 3 children. What is that going to cost with the life that I truly want for them? Because I don't want a normal Svensson life. All right. And then of course, what will the flight cost between these different homes, and like go into real detail, because we truly want to figure out like what is your real number. And then I said, summarize both of these numbers so that we know like what is the absolutely best case and what is the base case scenario. When you know that, it would be absolutely fantastic if you would like to go into Escape the Facebook rat race. Escape the Facebook, no. It would be amazing if you would like to go into the Escape the Rat Race Facebook group and share that you just watched this training and that you understood that your base case number is this and that your best case number is that. That would be absolutely awesome, because this is also you taking the next step of bravery and really showing yourself, I am allowed to dream. I am allowed to really articulate what it is that I want. Every time I started to do that with something that I truly wanted, I moved closer to my goals rapidly. I've seen that with my income. I've seen that with moving here to Vietnam. As soon as I started to be brave enough to talk about it and overcoming all the doubts and fears that I can't have it, then I'm moving so much faster to that ideal wanted situation. The next step, step 4, is that you congratulate yourself. Congratulate yourself for the amazing, fantastic job that you have been doing. You have really been taking yourself seriously. And when you start to take yourself seriously, the world will also start to take yourself seriously. You will feel and see yourself start to act differently when you do this. So congratulate yourself, praise yourself, hug yourself, maybe get a glass of champagne or bubbles, prosecco, whatever, something, or take a bath, celebrate that you did this. You really dedicated yourself. I would guess 95% of the women who go through this training, they will look at this and they will say, I will do that later. Or they maybe start, but they won't finish. So if you are actually belonging to that group of the 5% of the women who actually goes through this, and you dedicate yourself and you do it and you post your number in the Facebook group, then you are so much ahead of the curve. And I'm so proud of you. Hooray! Like that, okay? The last thing you do is that you ask for help. Who do you ask for help? Do you ask me? Do you ask someone else? You ask the universe. You ask the universe. You ask your spirit guides. You ask, like, whatever you believe in. And I did write down WWIT. What does that stand for? It stands for, what would it take? This is a magical phrase that I share with my amazing students in the Master Manifest Your Soul Coaching training. I share this whenever we want something and we want help to actually move closer to that goal. We can ask the what would it take question. And the what would it take question is extremely powerful. So I would really highly encourage you to use it now and use it the way I teach it. Because my students have heard me share examples of what can happen when we're using it, and we forget to mention certain things. Just remember the whole phrase when you say it, basically. The phrase is, what would it take for me to create my life where I have 200,000 SEK a month coming into my bank account? After taxes or before taxes, you add that. So you state a goal. What is it that you want? What would it take for me to have X goal? The goal. Everything between me and that goal, please clear that so that the path will be smooth, happy, fun, and enjoyable. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Once you state this phrase, you have given this wish to the universe. You have told them, this is what I want. What would it take for me to actually receive this? Then your job, after you have said this phrase, is to take massive action. If the inner knowing comes to you saying, like, see if you can book a call with Linda, take action on that. If the knowing comes to you, call that person. If the knowing comes to you, write that post. Whatever it is, take action. This is the missing piece that so many women miss. They miss the part of taking action. The action part is super, super important. So when you phrase or state this phrasement, when you phrase this statement like this, the universe is helping you, supporting you, guiding you, giving you all these impulses. This is what it would take, Miranda. This is what it would take, Amanda. Do it this way, do it that way. And it gives you guidance and clearing the path for you so that you can move closer to that goal. With that said, I'm sending you so much love. I'm super excited to hear how this is working out for you. And this became a much longer training than I intended it to be. So apparently it was a lot of stuff that we needed to cover. And I really, really hope that you appreciate it. I congratulate you for taking this time, investing this time in yourself. And I can't wait to see what your two numbers of freedom are, the base case number and the best case number. So excited. Sending you so much love. And I will be seeing you in the Facebook group. Bye.